Annihilation. Oh. Thank God. I love Russian roulette. I'm so wasted.
I'm sponsored by God.
Annihilation is written and directed by Alex Garland and is based off of the book Annihilation, and it stars Natalie Portman, Oscar Isaac, Tessa Thompson, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, Benedict Wong, and some other people. And it is about, well, it's hard to explain, but I'm going to do my best here. It is about this meteorite that hits Earth. It hits a lighthouse, and as soon as it hits the lighthouse, it begins to kind of change the environment and the landscape of Earth and just creatures. It mutates them, and the area that it hits, it slowly starts to expand, and kind of the boundaries of the area that this alien organism or whatever it is, the boundaries of its kind of control, there's kind of a shimmer, this kind of somewhat transparent shimmer. It's described as a shimmer in the movie, and yeah, everything inside it is freaking bananas. That's all I'm going to say about the shimmer itself, because honestly it's too hard to explain. But as for the plot of the movie, Natalie Portman is the main character. Her husband is gone. He went on a secret mission and was gone for a year. All of a sudden he shows up. She's freaking out. She learns about the shimmer, and well, I'm not going to spoil much, but she has to go back in. She's going to go into the shimmer to try and find out what has happened to her husband, and also just what the heck is going on in the shimmer. And that is kind of the premise of Annihilation. That's all I'm going to give you, because this movie is an experience. That is the number one thing you can say about Annihilation. It is an experience, and I am not going to spoil it for you. Let's first talk about what I liked about this movie, and then we'll get to the stuff that I didn't like so much. Natalie Portman was beautiful and terrific, as she always is. She really gave a really good performance here. She was kind of quiet. I mean, it wasn't like a super showy kind of role, but she was really good. She played a really strong female protagonist for the most part. She was kind of her kind of character was somewhat similar to characters like Ripley from the Alien franchise and other sci-fi horror characters. I mean, her characters has a lot, different backstory and some different stuff, but as far as a strong female protagonist that uses her wits to get out of things, she was really good. Now, as for Jennifer Jason Leigh's performance in this movie, at first I didn't like her very much. She was a bit depressing to listen to, a bit kind of creepy, very quiet, and she just didn't seem to emote much. She was kind of monotone. However, as the movie goes on, you learn something about her character, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, that would bum me out too. As for Tessa Thompson in the movie, she was fine. She was in the movie for a lot, but her performance wasn't necessarily super noteworthy. I thought it was fine. She played kind of a soft-spoken, kind of peaceful kind of character. Now, Gina Rodriguez in this movie, I thought was really good. Also freaking psycho. Her character is a little, kind of goes a little off, and it's fun to watch and kind of scary. She does a really good job when her character, kind of goes crazy. I thought Gina Rodriguez played her crazy scenes very well. Now, Benedict Wong in this movie wasn't in for very much, but I thought he was fine. He was good. He was Benedict Wong. He was a Wonger. That was, oh my, just can't believe I said that. Now, Tuva Novotny was also one of the main characters in the movie. She was good. I really liked her as far as her character seemed like a very sweet person, but her performance wasn't anything special. Now, Oscar Isaac was definitely one of the biggest names in this movie next to Natalie Portman, and if you're expecting this to be an Oscar Isaac movie, sorry, you're going to be disappointed. He's not in the movie for very much. When he is in the movie, he's pretty good. However, I will say he kind of has an accent in the movie, and sometimes the accent seems to be there, and sometimes it seems to not be there in the movie, and so it's a little perplexing. He probably could have done a little bit better with the accent. But like, there's just a scene towards the end of the movie where he's talking, and you're like, wow, he really has a bit of an accent here. And before in the movie, you're like, there's maybe a hint of that. I don't know. It was just kind of a little weird, but overall, he was good. But yeah, all the performances across the board were really good. I liked all of them, but especially Natalie Portman's. Hers was great. Now let's actually talk about what goes down in Annihilation without spoiling anything. Okay, let me tell you a few things right off the bat here. Alex Garland, the director, with Annihilation, has made his second masterpiece of sci-fi horror. Ex Machina was great, and I don't know if you could classify this movie as sci-fi horror, but I think it's more rather a sci-fi mind-blowing movie with some scenes of horror in it, just like Ex Machina was. Ex Machina was an incredible movie the year it came out, and Annihilation is no different. I think Annihilation is even more interesting than Ex Machina. I don't know if it's necessarily a better film than Ex Machina, but either way, Annihilation, Alex Garland with Annihilation has made his second sci-fi masterpiece. The guy he has proved himself to be not just a great, writer. He wrote, I believe, 28 Days Later back in like the 90s. But he has proved himself now to not just be a good writer and, whatever else he was doing, but also a great director. The film was beautiful to look at. There's tons of color. There's just the special effects are incredible. The landscapes, the way the creatures look in this movie, all their mutations. It looks brilliant. There are visuals in this movie that just blew my mind. Okay, there's one particular visual at the end where you're looking into something. I don't want to give away anything, but you're looking into something, and it's one of the few things where both the character in the movie is kind of getting hypnotized by it, but you also, as the viewer, is getting hypnotized by the visual. I couldn't stop looking at it. It was freaking me out. So yeah, just a beautiful movie to look at. I mean, it really is. I mean, all the colors and everything. Like, if you want to see something that looks cool, like a really cool looking movie, Annihilation is for you. I was also a really big fan of the score. They did a lot of, most of the movie, the score consisted of acoustic guitar music throughout, but then towards the end, and just kind of like mixed in with the acoustic guitar music, there is some really cool, eerie, unsettling electronic music that's like do-do-do-do. I can't really do it, but it was awesome. I mean, to me, I was blown away with this movie. It's the whole concept. It is a high concept sci-fi film. It is like a sci-fi film that is really in many ways similar to Inception, not the concepts aren't the same, but Inception is a high concept movie. I'm not sure you can call it sci-fi, but it's a mind-blowing movie. It's a movie that's, it's metaphors. You got to analyze it. You got to see it more than once to understand it. And I mean, Annihilation is exactly like that. Everybody's going to walk out of this movie with their own theory of what the movie's really about, what the metaphors mean, because there are clearly metaphorical references in this movie, and there's all sorts of twists and turns in the movie, and I don't have the movie all figured out myself, but I mean, ultimately, I walked out of this movie going, that was an incredible experience. I'm going to think about this movie for days. I've already seen this movie twice, and I'm still thinking about this movie. I can't get it out of my mind. It's a mind-blowing movie, especially towards the end. The ending, like the last 20 minutes of the movie, is freaking bizarre. Some of the most bizarre stuff I've ever seen in a movie, and it was super, super cool. And it like walking out of this movie, you have this feeling in your chest where you're like, wow, that was an experience. It's a great experience. As long as you're not squeamish or afraid of frightening imagery. I took my sister to see it last night, and well, she wasn't happy after the movie. Look, I'm not going to spoil any of the freakiness of this movie, but there's a scene with a bear that is a nightmare. It is nightmarish. It is freaky as I will get out. It is terrifying. It scared the living daylights out of my sister. She was very upset walking out of the theater because it freaked her out so much. Because, as I said, the shimmer mutates things and it changes them, makes them look all freaking weird. And it even just does some weird, like, almost supernatural stuff to things. And, well, the stuff that it did to this bear made that bear far more terrifying than a regular bear. And, yeah, that whole bear scene, and you'll know it when you see it. There are, I guess, 2 bear scenes in this movie, but you'll know which one I'm talking about when you see it. Honestly, the most unsettling thing about Annihilation is not what you see, it's how you feel. Because to me, in the movie, the tone of the movie, it's one of those it's a imagination expanding experience that puts you in territory that your mind has probably never been in, and that can really freak some people out. Certainly did to my sister, and for me, I just thought it was freaking cool. But I do not recommend the movie to somebody who hates just kind of like freaky stuff. Like, this movie is not very gory, but there's legitimately just some weird stuff, bizarre, creepy, eerie stuff that happens. And if you're not into that, you may not want to go see it. You may want to stay away. Like, I really think Annihilation is a must-see, guys, because it's like I said, it's the kind of movie where it's like Inception, where everybody's going to walk out with their own theories about what happened and what concepts were in there, and it's a movie that you can talk with your friends about for hours upon hours about what the movie actually means, what actually happened, and it really is, to me, a modern day, another sci-fi masterpiece from Alex Garland. I loved it, like, clearly I did, and, you know, I've already seen it twice. I may see it again, I don't know, but I highly recommend it. It's suspenseful, it has some scenes and elements of horror, there's definitely some visual imagery that is meant to freak you out, and if you're into that, and if you're into an experience that's really gonna make you feel weird, but also, like, excited, this movie's gonna do it for you. For me, guys, Annihilation annihilated me in the best way possible. It is my favorite movie of the year so far, and so obviously the score I'm going to give Annihilation is an A+. So tell me, ladies and gentlemen, have you seen Annihilation? If so, please comment below and tell me what you thought of it. And as always, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe. Tell your friends about the channel, and please never forget to be